Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in for another one of our Citadel interviews. Today, I'll be interviewing Jenna Rodgers, who's a fabulous artistic director, and dramaturg. Am I forgetting anything, Jenna?
No, you nailed it.
And I just wanted to, you all know who I am at this point, but I just wanted to begin by acknowledging that we are on my home, Treaty 6 territory, which is the land of the Cree, Saulteaux, Nakota Sioux, Stoney, and Cree Iroquois, as well as the Métis. And this is their home, my home, and thank you for being here. Okay, great. So Jenna, do you want to introduce yourself first?
Sure. Hi, everyone in computer land. My name is Jenna Rodgers. I'm an artist based in Treaty 7 in Mohkinstsis, area known as Mohkinstsis. I identify as an artist of mixed race descent. I'm biracial. One side of my family is Chinese and has been here for generations and generations and generations. And the other side of my family is Welsh and are actually first generation newcomers on this land. So always grappling with what it means to be a settler. And thank you, Tai, for the beautiful welcome and grounding in where we are.
Yeah. It's my favorite place on earth, Treaty 6. And so not only is Jenna an artist that I just have a lot of love for personally and I'm so inspired by, ever since I moved home, Jenna and I hadn't even met yet. And we were supposed to be in Banff together. And then we just started talking on the phone like every third day. And it was like when COVID had just happened, I was constantly like, oh my God, Jenna, what am I doing? Oh my God, Jenna, what should I do? And it was when I moved here, it was Jenna has become a very important mentor and friend. And I'm so excited that it's announced now by the time this video is posted, but I'm so excited that she's joining me for Mary's Wedding, a Métis love story adaptation. So Jenna, how did your company Chromatic start and how has it changed since you started it?
Whoa, I feel like we just breezed over Mary's Wedding. So just for one hot second to say, I'm also very excited to be working on this. It'll be my first time working at the Citadel stage. And as a human who grew up in and around Edmonton and, took classes at the Citadel, it's a really, really wild thing that I'm so grateful to be returning to the stage to work with you, Tai, but also to get to know the Citadel better and get to know the Edmonton community of artists better. I think it's going to be a real treat. So That's all I'll say on that. The question about Chromatic Theatre, how has it changed from when it started?
Yeah, and what made you decide to start? Because you've described Chromatic to me personally as like you running out of the back of a van.
Yeah. Yeah. Goodness. So I decided to start Chromatic Theatre when I moved to Calgary, which was in 2013. I had been living and working in Toronto, working with a bunch of amazing companies like Cahoots Theatre and Fujian Theatre. And learning about what it means to run indie theater. When I came to Calgary, I realized that while there were certainly legacies of culturally diverse artists who had been doing extraordinary work, there was no one company that was dedicated exclusively to doing work by and for artists of color. Mm. And so I thought I think I know how to do that now. I think I know how to run a company. So I just started applying for grants and I got some and I didn't get others and then I got more and I think in a strange way, that's really the biggest way in which it's changed. We've been able to amass a certain amount of funding or we are relatively regular with project grants. We just got on operating at the municipal level, which gives us a bit of flexibility. We still don't have any full-time staff. So that's a goal is to have staff. Running it out of the back of the van is this, I think. Sometimes people assume when you're an artistic director, you're bringing in a sweet paycheck. And I'm I do this for $0 and a whole lot of love. And then of course get paid project to project. But Chromatic has been an extraordinary grounding agent for me, in terms of trying to find a way to make Calgary my home and trying to give back to that community by creating a place where artists of color, BIPOC artists feel comfortable to come together, create, meet each other, and discuss creative ideas. And so I think Chromatic feels much more established than it did when it started, but a lot of that has to do, with time and trust. And then also if I'm going to be cavalier, it also has to do a little bit with money.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And something Jenna and I've spoken about, on the phone during the super isolation is Jenna, also, we've talked a lot about the decision that you could have stayed in Toronto and you chose to come back to Alberta. So what was that for you?
Yeah, I think that resonates so much with me because it was so similar for you. Like you could have stayed in Vancouver, but you chose to come back to Alberta. And I think like Alberta is home. Like there's nothing like these prairie skies. There's nothing like that drive from Nisku and the airport out to my parents' house, which is like actually very close to where Ty's parents live. We grew up like a 10-minute drive from one another out in the sticks. But yeah, I think it's important to be close to family, but this has always felt like home. This city and this place. And I think as a racialized artist, I've gotten really frustrated and tired of the stigma that we don't exist in Alberta. And I think part of that erasure is societal, but part of it is like so many of our artists don't get the support that they need here, so they leave. And wanting to be here and being able to slowly establish a company not only allows me to be present here, but also allows me to like follow in the footsteps of some other extraordinary like individuals who are working together, like yourself and Mieko and Helen, who are working together to like make Alberta a more hospitable place for artists of color to maintain a career here. And that is exciting because again, it feels reciprocal. Not only do I get to be in a place that I love, but I get to give back to a place that has nurtured me.
Oh, yeah. Jenna and I are both small town Alberta girls.
Fultonville.
Or Dawson. It's so cool because when you're like 60, you're going to be such an auntie. You're going to be like, these are all the diverse artists in Alberta I have raised.
I'm only so lucky.
Yeah, you will be.
Yeah.
And yes, my next question is because of COVID, which is where our relationship, we were supposed to be in Banff together, but how, how has COVID changed your plans and what have you learned and what's been good about it and what are you struggling? And for other artists who are struggling and watching this video, like, is there any advice you can offer?
It's a hard question. I mean, COVID feels like it put so much on pause.
Yeah.
I was meant to be spending the summer out in Stratford, and that's a big contract. It's a big deal, I think, for Alberta artists. But you know, maybe the universe had other plans in store for me. I've been able to fill my summer with a lot of anti-racism education, a lot of honing my own facilitator practice, a lot of trying to like work and develop initiatives in community that are trying to make this city and this province a more hospitable place for artists. So that's a good thing. I think it's not just COVID that changed my practice, but also like the brutal murder of George Floyd is a catalyzing event in a collective psyche that has rallied some energy around the need for better equity, diversity, inclusion, for anti-racist action practice, and for trying to find ways to incorporate that into practice or share tactics that I'm using in my practice with other practitioners. And there's an exhaustion to that, but also an invigoration to that. To other artists. I don't know that I have like brilliant words of wisdom other than the notion to like find ways to be gentle with yourself and kind to yourself. Pauses are hard, and having CERB or access to that has been really helpful. If you have energy and capacity, maybe learn a little bit about universal basic income, because there are a lot of extraordinary people in our arts community who are working to petition government to make changes so that in times of scarcity, because we as artists know what it is to live in times of scarcity, universal basic income could really be a game changer. But also, I think in this time that is requiring a lot of patience from us and asking us to do a lot of learning, be kind with yourself. And then when you have energy, challenge yourself to do better and to ask hard questions, because we all need to keep learning in order to make the changes we want to see. And if you don't want to see changes, maybe ask yourself why.
That was great words of wisdom. What are you talking about? You're just downplaying your beautiful brain. And our last question, what are you working on now?
Well, I mean, you may be able to tell from our backgrounds, but Tai and I are in a theater. What? Tai's actually right behind this wall here.
And Jenna, forward for me. Like this is the wall we're sharing.
Yeah. We're at the Westbury Theatre at the Arts Barns, working on a show called All That Binds Us with Azimuth Theatre. It's a collective creation that's been in the works for like 2 years and change. Yeah, I've been one of the core creators of the project and have stepped into the role of dramaturg and assistant director, and am hanging out. And Tai is an extraordinary performer who's bringing some of these like collectively envisioned words to life. And
Mina.
That's Amina Shahab, who many of you know, who's an actor about town.
Yeah. So Amina and I are in the actors' dressing room. Jenna's in the production dressing room.
Yeah. And our lunch break is happening right now. So yeah, things happen around us because that's life. And welcome back to the theater, my friends.
It's great. And if you can come see it, for sure, come see it. There's 20 tickets a night, and it's also available online if you can't make it. But I'm very proud of the work we're doing, and like the creators, like Jenna and everyone else, they've done some really incredible writing.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. It's a wild ride to be back here, and I hope you can join us for it.
Yeah. And it's so exciting talking to people all over Canada. That like Edmonton's doing stuff and other places aren't. And like Alberta's doing stuff, and that makes me really proud to be here personally. Yeah. Yeah,
it is cool. It's really cool. And a lot of that is thanks to the extraordinary work that you, Tai, are putting in, but also like work that the Citadel's doing to be a leader and try to figure out ways that can return us to our practice safely and ways that can return the audience to the entertainment safely.
Which we will also be doing in Mary's wedding, which will be announced tomorrow. But when you see this video, it will have already been announced. Okay, thank you so much for your time, Jenna.
My pleasure. Thank you for chatting with me today.
Okay. Bye. Thank you everyone for tuning in.